So today we're going to take a look at Sentinels versus LG. Obviously LG went on to qualify, and so I wanted to get a look at them. But obviously for you Sentinels fans as well, I'm going to tell you something that you probably already know. And that is that Sentinels don't know how to play split at all. And we're going to take a look at some clips that kind of prove that. But LG also played pretty well. And so let's start with the pistol round, shall we? So LG are on the attack, Sentinels are on the defensive side. What we'll start out with is this little sky flash here from Shazam. Now, the thing is, I actually had to go back to this flash a couple times and see what happened. But this flash is actually not deep enough that it doesn't catch anyone. Obviously, there are people here in mid, but this flash tells them there isn't people here in mid because it's not deep enough. This is just another thing that I saw. Apparently, Shazam has played very few games on Sky in his Valorant Pro career, so probably a bit of inexperience there, but this flash doesn't go deep enough, so it actually gives them a bit of disinformation. But as we run this forward, you can see they got this nice sage wall on A, but because that flash gives them that kind of misinformation, they become very passive. Now here's the thing, let's pause it here, because I want to talk about LG's comp as well, and why this comp sees so much success. So they're running the Raze and the Jet, the double duelist, with Sage, Omen, and Cypher. Now this is similar to the comp that actually Sentinels ran, but with Cypher for Chamber. I do admit that that isn't a good choice and they shouldn't have done that. Cypher is very important for this comp overall, but this comp is the most played comp of any on Split, and it's also very successful. And I think the reason that this comp is so successful is because it's very simple. It's very basic in terms of the layers of how you attack, and it very often looks exactly like this. You have your Omen here who's ready to flash deep for Heaven. And the thing is about this Omen flash, it can move to different parts of the map. Your Omen can be here and flash towards site. Your Omen can be down here and flash towards ramp. Your Omen can be up here and flash towards the A site as well. So there's kind of 4 different spots that you can go. And what will often happen is you will have your 2 duelists, your Jet and your Raze, and your Sage together, like they are there, about to attack wherever the Omen flashes. So you go Omen flash, your duelist probably, dash in, get in behind that flash, and then your Sage, after you've taken that space, will wall off a key area like this, for instance, or if you're coming to Heaven, it might be a wall there, or if it's onto A site, it might be here, or across the B site, it could be there or there, right? So that's often what will happen, and the thing is, as I said, you can kind of just move that same kind of structure around the map, and it will work the exact same everywhere you go. So I think that that's why this comp is so successful. You also have your Cypher often lurking on this A site, as we can see here, and we'll get into that a bit later with a round where we can see the success of the Cypher on that A site. But now we need to come to what's actually happening in this round, because this is truly shocking, because the Sentinels players are so passive here. I literally cannot believe this, because here's the thing. There's no need for them to be this passive. They have the Sage wall up here on A, 2 people watching it, like A's not under any immediate threat at all, and obviously won't be because we can see it's just the Cypher, but on B you've got the Cypher cam to see if anyone is coming through B main. You'll get good information that that's happening anyway, so no need to really worry about that too much either. So there's no reason really for these players to be this passive, but they are, and that costs them big time, because actually the Omen isn't even going to flash, because these players just walk up all the way into Heaven. They get this deep into Heaven. They haven't seen anyone. They haven't fired a shot. I don't know what's going on. And LG probably didn't either. And it's very, very confusing. So what ends up happening is Dazzle's just going to wall off Shazam here. He does flash and, he finds them there. But now Tens is in a 1v3 on a pistol round. So you can see the 3 people here. He ends up dying. And now you have a big problem, right? Because Shazam is walled off. And so now Dapper is all alone on this B site. And so if you are in this situation that Dapper is now, you are on this B site, your player in Heaven has died, you aren't getting any help anytime soon, you have one choice. There's only one thing that you can do, and that is basically hide and try and fight B main. If you can somehow cross to B main, then do that, because that would be great, and if you can get the kill on whoever is in B main, that's great. So if you know there's a lot of people in Heaven here, that probably means there isn't as many in B main, you try and fight them. You try and isolate them and fight them. So you're either going to hide behind this box, or if you have some utility that is going to allow you to cross in there, then you can also try that. But you can definitely not do what Dapper is about to do, especially on a pistol round, because it makes even less sense. Because Dapper, instead of doing what I just said and kind of hiding for a bit, and he could hide within that cage we just saw him pop, instead he's going to swing into 3 people. He knows that there's multiple people there. It's a pistol round, by the way, so the chances of him getting multiple kills while multiple people staring him down is almost 0. He has a classic as well for this. This is a terrible, terrible decision, and one that you should never make, and rightfully he dies. I mean, that was the only outcome that was ever going to happen from that, is that he dies, and so we end up in this situation, in this 3v5 here. And if we could probably just run it forward a bit quicker, because Matter is just going to eventually pick them off and win this round for LG. Matter had a very good game on the Raze, but there it is. Some questionable decisions by Sentinels, but LG a nice round from them, and they were probably a bit surprised that they were able to just walk up into heaven for free. Now let's skip ahead a bit to round number 8, and we're going to see similar thing. We get this early Sky Flash. This time it is deep enough and it does catch them, but this round is going to look much the same as it does for the others, where the round that we just saw, because again we get this super passive setup here on this B side towards heaven, and again they're able to walk a long way up before anyone sees anything. Now this is just it's baffling to me. I really don't understand it, and there's more baffling things that go on here as well. Like, why is the Sage playing here, right? Like, if you think about the good Sage walls on this map on the defensive side, you know, I will draw them for you. One is here, which they did use in that first round. I don't know why, you know, they aren't using it this round, but okay. You know, obviously the one through mid, and then often you'll get ones in heaven like this or like that. Those are generally the 4 Sage walls that are often used on the defensive side on split, and will get you pretty good value. Back here, the Sage isn't really gonna do anything. Like, if you're playing Sage, you're playing Sage for the wall. That's the main bit of utility that Sage is gonna use in most rounds. But like, if you were gonna wall this or something like that, that's not really that effective, because it doesn't stop them going towards this A site. And then especially against LG's comp, you know, they have many different agents that can get onto rafters anyway and then just come through here, or they could just come through vents anyway. So a wall like that doesn't really work at all for this match, and it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, they let them walk up again super deep. Don't really know why that is the case, but it's what they chose to do. So they give up a ton of space. Tens is actually able to get the first kill, but then he gets traded. And so now you're in this position again. Now what's happened, I should just quickly say, on the other side of the map, is we've seen the advantage of Cypher. We've had, he's caged up and he's managed to walk over there, and they have briefly seen each other. You can see that there's a ping on the map, and that's going to come in pretty big. Now our Cypher is actually just going to run away, but LG are basically just going to take a pause, and whilst they take that pause, I want you to take a look, because they're going to pause for this Cypher to come across back here. But you can see we've got these 2 Sentinels players. They're going to clear and look for this Cypher. You know, they've pinged here. They clearly believe he's there, but this whole time, the Cypher's now had time to actually run around the entire side of the map. So we're actually going to end up in a 4v2 again, and the exact same thing is going to happen. We're going to get this wall into heaven, as you might expect. And again, Dapper is going to make pretty much the same mistake he did before as well, where for whatever reason, he's completely isolated on the site. He finds himself in this terrible position. This time he does try a bit better to hide, but they have a good inkling that that might be the case. Again, Dapper needed to not be this close at all. As soon as Tens died, he needed to stay on like this side of the site, be ready to fight this. That's what he had to do. He has a cage here as well that he can play around. Instead, he decides to, you know, run away from that and instead come back over here, and eventually he's going to have to swing out and dies there as well. So they lose their site anchor as well, and now the site is just ready for the side of LG. And again, it looks much the same. They get the spike down, you know, they get a camera for heaven that pings it. They do actually manage to get the first kill here, Sentinels, and we are going to see some nice bit of play here from LG. We actually get a nice flash from Sick, because they managed to get 1 kill, and then they're able almost to get the second one. That trade from Tig is very good, because Moose was in big trouble, and then Sick ends up in this 1v2 where Tig is also going to be able to find that last kill, and a very nice round from LG there. But again, some mistakes made by Sentinels. And so you might think what I've shown you so far has been bad from Sentinels, but there was actually some rounds that were worse, and this is one of them. The very next round, round number 9. And you can see from Sentinels, it's actually a bit of a force buy here, but the way they're going to play this is absolutely ridiculous. It starts with this. There's 1 second left on the clock, right? But what's actually going to happen is Sentinels at the last second have decided, no, whatever plan we were going with, actually, no, do something completely different. We're going to go 4-stack B. I don't know why that is the case, but as we run this round forward, it starts off with Dapper getting a bit aggressive, but he's going to push back. You can see the side of LG here. They're actually going to come back towards this A site. And this is going to be a bit of an A execute. Okay, so we got a dog down mid. It doesn't see anyone this time because they're all going towards A. But Dapper is about to make a pretty big mistake, okay? Because what's going to happen if we just come to the normal mode here is they are going to walk up towards A. They smoke heaven. They're going to destroy this tripwire. They get caught in the cage. And Dapper's going to try and get aggressive with it. And you start spamming down there. But he cannot do this. Okay, there is just no way that this is ever the right choice. He has to be so passive here because he's all alone, right? And this maybe, you know, he didn't really realize because they decided for whatever reason at the very last second to leave him all alone, but he is all alone. And so the thing is, he has no, someone could already be up here for all he knows. He's had no eyes on it. He's actually come all the way back here. So whilst he was doing that, they could be anywhere, right? And so he just gets himself into a terrible situation where now he has to try and escape. And he kind of realizes that, but it's too late by the time he does, because now they are coming around that corner and they get that first kill. Now, after this, Sick is able actually to get a bit aggressive and find that kill. But then Sick also now just needs to, again, try and hide, wait for his team. But instead, he wants to fight. He sees that the smoke's fading and he's like, fight. You know, and then he gets shot from one angle, gets shot from the other angle, and he dies as well. And now we're in a 4v3. The spike is about to go down, okay? So the spike has just gone down now. So there's plenty of time still left, but for whatever reason, and I have no idea, again, why this is happening. So Shazam is going to flash down here, okay? Perfectly fine. He's going to check that no one has passed this wall. They obviously can see this wall. You know, they've come out of heaven now. They're on kind of the rafter areas, or at least Tens is, so he can probably see that there's a wall there. So Y10, the spike has just been planted, don't forget. So the time is no issue here. Y10s is going to decide to drop down when they know that that wall is there and they know that Shazam cannot help them. These Konpeki and 10s literally decide, well, what if we just fought a 2v4 instead, where we don't know where they are, but they know where we are? Well, how do you think that's going to go? Well, I'll tell you. It goes like this. 10s dies, they do get the trade, but then that gets traded as well. And now Shazam is in a nice little 3v1 situation where he has to go and try and like save his gun. It's just, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why they thought, well, he probably should save his gun in this instance. He actually tries to go and fight it, because of course he does. And he dies as well. Again, I don't really know why they chose to fight like that. It doesn't make any sense. Again, it just shows that they just want to be super aggressive all the time. They just have 100% confidence that they'll win every fight, and they just won't. Now let's take a look at round number 12, and this one is a very good round for Cypher mains out there, and I think just part of the power of Cypher on this map. Because as I said in the pistol round, often you'll get Cypher lurking towards this A site. You'll put down these cages very often as well, maybe a camera in here just to check down there. And that's a very common thing to do, and Cypher will be alone for a lot of the different rounds on this side of the map. And so what that means is, though, every so often, you can just go as a full 5-stack. Only use the Cypher to get you control of this area here. Once you've got control of that, then you can just burst on into the site, and people can be caught completely off guard by it, because most of the time they're expecting it will just be a Cypher. And that's exactly what happens in this round. Because as you can see, we got this sky flash coming down here, and that is going to flash them. But the thing is, that flash, it could just be the Cypher, right? Like, that flash goes off and it says someone's there, but they're probably expecting that it's only the Cypher. And so what happens is LG walk up, they don't make any noise, they only use the Cypher utility, right? No one else has made a peep. But then in they go, right? And it completely catches Konpeki off guard. You can see he's just not ready. He sees a raised nade. He's like, what's going on? He tries to wall, but it's not a great wall. He misses it because he's just like, he's so caught off guard by it. Madder ends up getting the kill, and they're in onto the site. And so that's just part of the advantage of the Cypher here. But LG, this is a really good round from LG because, again, they're gonna play as a team, okay? You get the Omen on top of this box, very common position for an Omen to be in. But you see B-Dog is right there in this smoke, ready to swing out as soon as he sees that contact. And that's exactly what happened. B-Dog is able to get one, he's able to get the second as well. He does get shot a bit. They're in a 5v2, and I love this as well, because these three players decide, we're gonna go up together and fight this. Worst case scenario, this is a 3v2, because they have the Raze, they have the Omen and the Jet. They all come up here as a 3, so that means that they're in a 3v2 worst case scenario. They might catch them off guard, which they did, and they end up getting these last kills. There's one. You can see they have a nice trade. Really well played by LG overall, and a nice round, and a nice round for all you Cypher mains out there. And now let's come to the other side of the map. So Sentinels are now attacking and LG are defending. And this is actually LG's bonus round. They have worse guns. You know, they've carried through whatever they've got. They've got some sheriffs, some marshals and whatnot. And Sentinels have their full guns. So this should be a pretty easy round win for Sentinels. And there's a couple common things that you don't want to do on a bonus round, or when you have the guns your opponent doesn't. And that is obviously give them free guns. Well, Sentinels decided, what if we just did that for everyone? What if everyone just decided to go off on their own way and, you know, leave free guns lying around everywhere, right? Because this looks like a ranked game, not just a ranked game, this looks like a ranked game where no one is coming. And you'll see what I mean for some of these deaths, because here we go. I have no idea what their plan is here, but it starts off with B-Dog getting a bit aggressive. He eventually is going to decide to push off after this boombot comes in. Okay, this is absolutely fine. And then what we're going to get is we get this Cypher cage up here, as you can tell, and they get the chance to cross. The problem that they have here is Tens is going to end up crossing on his own, and these two players are just going to leave him on his own. But Tens is going to act as if he has a lot of backup ready to trade, because B-Dog's able to kill him, but no one is there. They're still back towards A main. They're still all the way back here. They did have the chance to cross, and so I don't know whose fault this is, whether it's Tens not realizing that they weren't going to cross, or whether it's these two players just not crossing with him. But again, it looks like a ranked game where no one is coming, okay? So I have no idea what's going on. And obviously that is a very retrievable gun, again, on a bonus round. And actually, LG don't even need the guns that they're going to give them in this round, because it is that bad from Sentinels. Whilst that's going on, what we're about to get on this side of the map is Sick is going to go off on his own exploring here, and Tig's able to get into a nice little off angle and get that kill as well. So all of a sudden you're in a 5v3, not looking good, and then we're not going to see this next kill. But for Kampeki, for whatever reason, you know, there's no control of this whatsoever now. You know that they've probably gone and actually got a gun as well. For whatever reason, he decides now it's his time to peek out, and he dies, again, with no one near him at all. Tell me what the plan is in this round, because I don't see one, and I don't even see how there could be one. This is absurdly bad. Now, actually, Shazam is going to be able to pick off the one person who did pick up a gun, funnily enough. And so now it comes down onto this A site. Moose is kind of in an interesting position. You can see how he plays it differently, where he plays it basically as passively as he can. He actually goes and sets up a camera here to check Heaven and sees that Dapper is here. So he's going to get the spy cam dart off. That wasn't meant to happen. And ping Dapper here. That's going to obviously reveal their location. And what Moose does here is really quite nice, because he sees Shazam there as well. But look, he's just hiding. You know, he just waits for his team, and then the kill's going to come in from B-Dog swinging across here instead, because Shazam's on low health, because they gave him a rifle for nothing. And then what we're going to get actually is just a bit of toying here with Dapper. They're just going to play with their food a bit here. Dazzle is just, as you can see, just messing around with him, and just a lot of bullets are going to be fired, and he's just constantly peeking him, and eventually B-Dog gets the kill. This was a truly terrible round. I don't know if, you know, they were just at this point just molding and not talking to each other or whatever, but it was pretty clear that, yeah, things weren't going great. And now let's come to the round that ended it, round number 19. And we're going to see some nice little play from LG here. It starts with Mana actually getting a bit aggressive. He turns the flash, but then the dog's going to come out as well. So he knows his bounds, he knows he has to retreat. But Sentinels are going to go after them fast on this. And you can see actually B-Dog and Mada are here. B-Dog has to dash away. They get flash, they put in the nade. Everything's going crazy. We actually end up with a trade here of nade kills, but now I love the reaction from LG, because obviously they have a res, and this is a pretty resable position. This is one of the safer reses you'll probably get. And so what they're going to do is they're going to wall up, flash at the same time from the Omen. The Omen's going to come up here and join them. They're going to get Mada on top of the wall to swing with the flash whilst the res is going off, and obviously everyone's looking towards the res. Mada's going to swing from the other side of the wall and get a kill, which is really, really nice. So here we go. We get the wall there. The Omen is about to flash now, so they res now. You can see that the flash is coming in here as well, and then Mada is going to swing from the other side of the wall, get a nice little kill here. Then everything's going to go crazy again. He's going to throw in another nade there. Six able to get one, Mada's able to get one, Dapper's able to get one. The trades come flying in back and forth, and we end in a 3v2. Okay, and so then as we run this forward a bit in this 3v2, what's actually going to happen is they're going to encircle them. Really nice from LG. They still have the Cypher set up on A, so if they did come all the way back here, you know, they'll still have that information. But you can see that the Omen is just waiting behind there. They have the Cypher in vents to make sure they don't go there, and it ends with Tig here just sneaking up behind them. And then I love here also what Mana does, because he's just going to, again, hide. You know, he's just going to hide. And obviously now at this point, he knows that this Cypher hasn't gone to any of his other teammates. So he's pretty confident that, okay, he's probably crossed Heaven. They also used a little Omen ult there into Heaven just to check it. So the Omen ult in here just to have a quick look around to see if he is still in there. They see that he's not. And so you can see Mada here is just tucked up in this corner. He knows that this is probably the most likely scenario that's gone on, and so he's just able to get the final kill and win it for LG, who I think played pretty well on this map. But Sentinels, as you can see, they just don't know how to play split, and I would be surprised, honestly, if they just keep trying and don't just start banning split, because it's pretty clear that they don't know what's going on.